G'day, Steeler Nation. Welcome back to the Steel Curtain Network, and also welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia here on YouTube. Now, this podcast that I've come back to with SEN, I worked with these guys 3 or 4 years ago. Been doing podcasting for 3 or 4 or 5 years now, almost like my fourth season on YouTube and podcasting for a very long time, doing mini jobs here and there and podcasts and, working with a lot of people. This one now has been going for 28 weeks, and how things have changed in those 28 weeks. And I'm also getting ready for the game Steelers versus Jets. We are finally here, Steeler Nation. We're here. If you're going towards the game or you're getting ready for the season, if you're going over to Ireland like I am, I'm getting ready. I'm getting my bags packed and things in order to set myself up to travel from Sydney to Dublin. And it takes me about 25 hours to get there. So it's been a long journey on this podcast, this new show, G'day Steelers Nation, where it's an Aussie fan perspective. My name's Mark. You've been here for a little bit on Spotify, on the audio platforms, on SEN, or here on YouTube. And I'm very excited about this season. Now, my very first episode, or first few episodes, was talking about the Aaron Rodgers drama, where I wasn't a huge fan of Aaron Rodgers signing with the team. But day by day, I've come full circle where I'm cool with it. I'm okay with it. I hope that he goes out there week one and plays a rival game and absolutely tears them apart, and we win this game 27-0. Now, that's going to be my score prediction, because in this episode, as I was, teasing the last few weeks, I reckon the Steelers are going to win. I reckon the Steelers are going to win big. And I reckon the Steelers are going to win big and bold. Now, I was teasing this a few weeks ago, saying that one bold prediction I see for the Steelers versus Jets game is the Steelers are not going to allow a single point. Yeah, that's right. You heard me correctly. The Pittsburgh Steelers will not allow a single point. And here's my reason. If the Steelers want to be known as the best defense in the league, I believe they have to start strong. Now, on paper, when you go to the Steelers defense, from D-line to outside linebacker to the improved secondary, they definitely have a better defense than last year, and they should be known as top 5. So they need to put this from paper into practice, into almost, Steelers perfection on game day. Because on the defense side, as you know, they've got Cameron Hayward. Yes, he's not holding out or holding it anymore. He'll be turning up and he's going to be playing Steelers football. You have Keanu Benton at the nose tackle position. You're going to have what looks like Derek Harmon. He looks like he'll be out for week 1, but the other guy will step up, and that's Y.A. Black into probably his role, or some other D linemen will rotate around as well. Then you have TJ Watt on the outside. Superstar TJ Watt got his contract. He's going to go absolute havoc this year when he plays outside linebacker. Now, on the other side, too, Highsmith and Queen in the middle, and then Peyton Wilson. And backing up is Cole Holcomb, who comes back from his injury. He looked really good in preseason. All right? So that's only to name the D linemen and the outside linebackers and inside linebackers. Then in the secondary, Darius Slay from the Eagles, we get to see him. Juan Thornhill from the Chiefs. He plays safety next to Deshaun Elliott. And Joey Porter and Jalen Ramsey. This, to me, definitely is a top 5 defense. And yes, me saying the Steelers can hold the Jets to 0 is quite a bold prediction. But wouldn't that be fantastic? Wouldn't that put the NFL on notice? Wouldn't that put other teams, other fan bases going, hang on a minute, they didn't, and then it's only the Jets. They'll probably say that, right? It's only Justin Fields. They know him. But I'm thinking about it, that this team can do it. If Mike Tomlin and the defense and Terrell Austin, they understand what they have with Justin Fields. Now, he's a good quarterback. He did very well for us in 2024. He went 4-2. He ran the rock quite well, getting TDs. He did okay in the passing game, finding targets on the outside, and George Pickens, and finding the running back when he needed to. Justin Fields did okay. But this, to me, is about the Steelers sending a message. It's one big bold prediction for our team. And they say, you know what? And look, week 1, you're not going to win a Super Bowl in week 1. But I'm just saying the Steelers, with their defense, can send a massive, bold prediction move towards everyone else and saying, do not F with us at this moment. Like, I think comments out there, if you were to say the score in your head or write it down, I've got 27-0, but some people might say 24-17, 24-14, 20-13, right? Our defense, even last year when you go back to the Falcons game, they only allowed the opposition. We scored 18 points, and we are being the Steelers, and Chris Boswell scored 18 points, and the defense only allowed up 10. So why can't it happen? So anyways, so I'm going to go into it, though, because I did some research on this topic, and I wanted to find out when was the last time the Steelers had shut out an opponent 2-0. And I did some research, and I found this. The Pittsburgh Steelers have recently shut out as winners. The last time, I say recent, but it was quite a few years ago, was December 24, 2011, a 27-0 victory over the St. Louis Rams. Right? St. Louis Rams. Now, when I put that into I think into Google, when I was like, yeah, it was 2011, I believe that Charlie Batch was a part of that game. So it looks like that might have been like near the last week. And I'm going to try to find out exactly what it was. A 2011 Steelers versus Rams. And you can look it up on, St. Louis Rams. You can look it up on ESPN and find the stats. But I'm pretty sure Charlie Batch was, and maybe the rest of their starters, right? Or the Rams, rest of their starters. But he played in that game. And the Rams were 2-13. And our Steelers were 11-4, 7-1 at home. And the box score was Charlie Batch went 15 for 22, 208 yards, 9.5 average, 1 interception, and 0 sacks. And Rashad Mendenhall ran for 116 with a touchdown. Isaac Redman ran for 35, the touchdown. Mike Wallace got 82 yards. Our defense that year in 2011 was Lawrence Timmons, Troy Polamalu. There was William Big Play Gay. There was Ryan Clark, James Harrison, James Farrier, Ike Taylor, Cameron Haywood. So that's pretty cool. He was on the squad too the last time it happened. I've just got this feeling that this team can hold them to 0. Now, does it overly matter? Does it have to happen? No, it doesn't need to happen that they have to hold them to 0. But I think it would be kind of cool for them to, the defense has been, there's been talk about that Mike Tomlin said they could be the most historic defense in NFL history. Juan Thornhill came out and said some things about the defense, and he was very happy about it, and they could be the best ever, right? So this is putting everything together from paper to practice to perfect. Like, if we see this in our defense in the secondary and TJ Watt on the outside and Alex Highsmith can go absolute hammer and tongs and rush around Justin Field, why can't we see it? Anyways, I predict it could happen. I'm just saying there could be a big possibility. Anyways, the next previous shutout was, that was 2011, 27-0. Also in the same year was September 18th, was 2011, a 24-0 victory against Seattle. And before that, as winners, was 2008, December 20, a 31-0 performance against the Cleveland Browns in 2008. However, though, here's one interesting side point. The last time the Pittsburgh Steelers were held to 0 was November 26, 2006, a 27 loss against Baltimore Ravens. So that's almost been, 19, 20 years or whatever it may be, the Steelers have been held to 0. I also did some more research too. The New York Jets, most recent shutout as winners. They shut out the Cincinnati Bengals 37-0 in 2010. And I believe that was the last, I think it was like week 16 or week 17 or something like that. In 2010, 37-0. And I looked at that game too, and I was watching the Jets game and the Bengals game, and I believe that was for the Jets had to play themselves into the playoffs where the Cincinnati Bengals already made it. And funnily enough, if the Bengals were to beat the Jets that year, they would have eliminated them from contention. And the funny thing was, in 2010, when that happened, they beat them 37-0, smashed them, because the Bengals started to rest their starters, and they had, I think it was Carson Palmer, he threw like 1 yard, like one pass, 1 yard. Things were off. The Jets were freaking fired up to be a 37-0 victory over the Bengals. And the week after, they played in the playoffs, and the Jets beat them again. So the Jets just could not be stopped. I believe that was when Bart Scott was there and Rex Ryan playing in 2010. They absolutely smashed them as winners. 37-0, nothing better than that for the Bengals to be, defeated on the last week. And then also, they should have got rid of them in the to even make the playoffs. But it does remind me a little bit. It reminds me a little bit a few years ago when the Steelers had a chance to beat the Browns and they let the Browns win. Next minute, a week after, the Steelers versus Browns in the playoffs. And we know exactly what happened with that. Big Ben, Maurkice Pouncey, Rashard Mendenhall, they couldn't fall in the football, and the Browns made us look like toast. So going back to another game too was the last time the New York Jets were held to 0 as losers was September 26, 2021, a 26-0 loss against the Denver Broncos. So it could happen. It could happen. And look, I don't care if the Steelers win 42-3, 50, 55-10. It just is my prediction that I believe that could be a chance because based on the defense alone, with TJ Watt, I think he's going to go absolutely havoc in this game. I think he's going to get 3 sacks. I believe Alex Highsmith is going to drop back into coverage and, put some pressure on Fields and maybe get a pick, maybe get a turnover. Maybe we see a forced fumble from the running backs, Breece Hall. Maybe you see this defense and Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey go absolutely crazy in this game. And I know I'm getting too amped up, but I kind of have to. It's Steelers versus Jets. It's week 1. It's the rival game that is Aaron Rodgers going back to the last 2 years he was there. Do we see a slow starting offense? Do we see Caleb Johnson, run the football? I'm excited to see Warren as well. But I thought, why not? Why not start this, this NFL season 2025 on the right foot and hold the Jets to 0? Last year in 2024, they did a really good job in the first 3. I believe it was the first 3 games. They are averaging only, I think it was 10 points per game with the Chargers involved there. They also had the Broncos. They held them to, minimal points as well. So the Steelers can start out very hot, very, very hot. And why can't they in 2025 with a better defense? Week 1 last year, they were 18-10 against the Falcons. Then they went to Denver. They were 13-6. So they only scored 16 points in 2 games. And with the LA Chargers, they won the game 20-10. So over 3 games, they only allowed 26 points. All I'm asking for is for the Steelers to hold them to 0 and just tell the NFL world to quiet down a bit. And they keep saying the standard is a standard and it's 9-8 season. And, Rodgers, he's going to be washed. Actually, that was me. I was 28 weeks ago on this podcast. I was talking about that Rodgers was going to be washed. No, Rodgers was going to be washed. Anyway, Steel Nation, that's the first part of my episode. I thought, you know what? Let's go back to some history. The last time the Steelers have held shut out an opponent was 2011, 27-0 over the St. Louis Rams. And it's about time they do it again. I just want to see it. I think it'd be just so cool and fun to see that our defense, TJ Watt, Highsmith, Peyton Wilson gets a sack. Queen gets a forced fumble. There's a pick 6, something like that. We can hope, we can dream. This is a fun part of the season where everyone starts 0-0. All 31 teams have a chance to make the Super Bowl, except the Browns. They're not going to make it. Even the Bengals can't stand them. They have a chance. But we all know the Browns have 0 chance to make it. All I want to see in this game in week 1 is 27-0. Steelers get 3 touchdowns. Chris Boswell knocks over 2 50-yard field goals. And we walk out of MetLife Stadium, if they're still calling it that, we walk out of there with a huge W, 27-0. Steel Nation, we'll go for a quick break here on Steel Nation Australia and also SEN. And we'll come back and talk a bit about, the season and what to expect and what you guys want to, I don't know, what do you guys want to expect to see for this season in 2025? We'll talk a bit about, the season hopes and dreams for our team. I'm just keen. I'm keen to see Steelers football once again. So go to a quick break and we'll be right back after this. Alrighty, Steel Nation, welcome back to the Steel Curtain Network and also welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. So in the first part of the episode, I just talked about the Steelers holding the Jets to 0 and what a great start that would be. It will be the first time since 2011. I want to go a bit of a side mission here though, because I'm looking up things on Twitter. And this makes me a little bit kind of angry, but at the same time, I should have did some research here and there. But I've got the NFL Australia and New Zealand app on Twitter. They kind of run their main program and tell me who's playing and they're in the know in terms of advertising the game and all that kind of stuff, right? And it's funny because when I first started watching football in 2002 or 2003. We had a thing called Foxtel, and we had Foxtel, which was you just played pretty much. I woke up at 3 a.m. to watch a game, and I'd see Cowboys versus Eagles. I'd see Cowboys versus Redskins. I'd see one game or two games on Fox Sports. Now, you can pretty much see the game anywhere. Like if you're in Australia, we have a thing called NFL Game Pass run by DAZN, and we have numerous other things called 7mate, which shows the game on free to air. We have ESPN, Disney, and there's some games on YouTube as well, which are the Chiefs game versus the Chargers. So right now, out of the 16 games, there's a few different options you can watch them on 7mate and 7 Plus and ESPN. Here's the thing though, because I know you guys over there have a lot of different issues with streaming, and you got to download Peacock or download Disney or whatever. So I've actually got Disney on my part of my streams, and Disney is showing the Steelers game. Disney is showing the New York Giants game. Disney is showing the Packers and also Ravens game. And also Disney is showing the Vikings game. So in some sense, I probably should have waited to not buy NFL Game Pass this year, because I already spent my money, $350 to buy Game Pass, because I get all 16 games, right? Because I don't want to miss a chance to not see a Steelers game. But at the same time, ESPN and Disney are showing the Steelers game. So I guess sometimes it does pay to do your bit of research here and there. But it's also interesting because it says here, for Australians and New Zealand, for people who are fans in New Zealand, there are 3 games on 7 Sport, 7 Plus. They're free to air stuff. 6 games on ESPN Australia and Disney, which is, I've got Disney and I've got a thing called KO, which runs through ESPN. 3 games on TV NZ, which is New Zealand station. 1 game on YouTube, and 16 games on DAZN. So basically, I'm paying for too many apps, and I know in America too. I even know some people in America will download a different kind of network, and they'll download the International Game Pass so they can get all the games. Because I know how it's really tough for you guys that certain locations can be blacked out. Certain locations you can't get a Steelers game. So hopefully you can get a Steelers game coming up into week 1. It's going to be my 3 a.m., but your 1 p.m. on the East Coast. So just a bit of a side note, a bit of a sidetrack mission, how I watch the game. So I watch the game at my 3 a.m. I wake up probably 2:30, have a coffee. Here on Steeler Nation Australia on YouTube, I do some live watch parties. So I wake up, I'm half asleep, and I get ready for the season. And the next minute when it's 3:01, Chris Boswell has kicked the ball off, and then the Jets run the ball back to the 20, and you'll see Carson Brunner lay the absolute smackdown and knock the guy out legally as best he can. I cannot wait for football to happen. Now, like I said before the break, let's talk about some things that I want to see in this game as well, the Jets, and also what I want to see in terms of the season. Now there's a big, I think there's a big question mark and a big look. Every Steelers fan right now, they want this team to win a playoff game. They want to win one playoff game at least. If we win one playoff game, it's going to be very successful. I do understand, though, however, a lot of Steelers fans out there, Yinzers, will say, no, we don't want one playoff game. We want a Super Bowl. But this could be the most talented team and probably the best overall depth chart. And, going from first team to second team to third team in maybe 10 years, maybe since the last time they went to the Super Bowl. Sorry, my apologies. They went to the playoffs when they versed the Chiefs and Miami. and I was living over in Canada at the time. And you're probably saying to me, well, there's still some holes. There definitely is. I think the receiver position that needs to be better depth, but we have DK Metcalf. There could still be a hole at the running back position in terms of Jalen Warren. And can he keep up with the ones, or do you see a split carry percentage with Kenny G? When my intrigue in this first game will tell me is how many snaps will Caleb Johnson get? Does he get 10 carries, 15 carries, 12 carries? Do they split it with Warren taking 20 or 15, or do they split with, a three-way tie where you'll see Kenny G get about 11 carries too? But you're also going to see these guys on the field in pass protection. When you see, does Rodgers go into shotgun and you have next to him Warren or Kenny G to block? Is Caleb Johnson still learning how to block? Can this team keep Aaron Rodgers upright in terms of the left tackles and right tackles, with Troy Fautanu having a really good camp and Jones playing his natural position? I think all those preseason questions going into week one, what's going to be their overall identity? Does it mean on offense that Arthur Smith is going to be using 2 tight end sets? Do they use 3 tight end sets? When we get towards the goal line, will you see Freiermuth and Jonas Smith and Darnell Washington in a tight end, 3 tight ends and a fullback out there, Connor Haywood? And do you play action pass and zing that ball to Darnell Washington? This to me is going to be very exciting because it's going to give us an insight, because we have not seen Rodgers throw a football in a real game. We have not seen Rodgers throw a football to Calvin Austin or to DK Metcalf. We have not seen that. Now, Steelers fans have seen the O-line, and they've seen 3 or 4 players on the O-line. Filling in was Anderson at left guard. Ciamala comes back to his position, but you have Jones and the 5 guys there. Zach Frazier, that's quite exciting. They're going to be playing an actual football game with Aaron Rodgers. We're going to see DK Metcalf. Do they, from the get-go, will you see a DK Metcalf, toss to the outside for 35 yards and him run down the field? I'm excited to see this offense too. As much as I think it might be a very slow start for the offense, I don't want to see any 3 and outs or, run the ball into the pile and get 2 yards. I still want to see if they can, find the tight end, Johnny Smith, or find Freiermuth over the middle to extend the field and get 10-yard gainers and 15-yard gainers to move down the field and get Chris Boswell into position. But this, to me, we're gonna figure out and find out what exactly the Steelers want to do in terms of snap count percentage, who's going to be out in the field. Do you see a connection with Rodgers and Roman Wilson? Do you see a connection with, of course, Rodgers and DK Metcalf? How many times does he receive the ball? How many yards he'll be getting in this game? As much as I want to talk about the Steelers holding the Jets to 0, I'm really excited for this team and this offense that is led by Aaron Rodgers. Now, 28 episodes ago, there was no way I was saying that. I was not a fan or keen to see Aaron Rodgers wear number 8. I wasn't keen to see him in the building, but something has changed over the last 4 or 5, 10 weeks. And when he signed, I think he's really checked into, the Steelers. I think he's level-headed, he's organized, he's worked with Mike Tomlin, and Aaron Rodgers is ready to go. And I believe when he throws his first touchdown or his first, big completion to DK Metcalf, I think a sigh of relief is going to happen. And if this team can start fast, if they can start fast and move down the field with DK Metcalf and say they go 7-0, Chris Boswell kicks the ball off, they run back for 20 yards, our defense holds them to a 3 and out, they get sacked, they go backwards, it's 3rd and 12, and there's a miscompletion pass. Next minute, they punt away, and Rodgers goes down the field as a veteran that he is, All-Pro, Super Bowl champion against us, and future Hall of Famer with over 50,000, 60,000 yards, 500 TDs. If it all works, they can keep Aaron Rodgers upright, and our offensive line plays well, pass blocking like they did in the preseason. We have a good running game where we can, move the feet and move the sticks and keep possession. They could start 7-0. They really could. I'm fully buying into the hopium because I'm surrounded by all this Steelers stuff, and I can't wait to get there in 4 weeks to cheer my team on against the Vikings. But this could be a game where all the pressure, all the offseason noise about receiver two, what's going to happen, what do we think of the offense, who's going to do this, who's going to do that, we're going to see it. We're going to see this in about 4 or 5 days. Steelers versus Jets, 1 p.m. in Pittsburgh. My 3 a.m. when I'm waking up half asleep, we get to see Aaron Rodgers throw the football to DK Metcalf and go, hang on a minute. We might have something here. This could be something where, okay, maybe the Steelers could have a chance to win the division if we play well. My expectations this year is to win the division, go 12-5, and the very last game versus the Ravens, both teams will be on 11 wins, and the Steelers will win 12-5. Or we go 12-5, and we have a head-to-head record over the Ravens, and we win the division. And we host a playoff game against whoever. It could be the Bengals as a wild card. It could be the Titans not Titans. It could be the Texans or someone as a wild card. I have no idea. It could be someone from the Chargers as a wild card if the Chiefs win it or someone like that. It could be Denver Broncos as a wild card. But we have to play at home. The Steelers need to play, I believe, to get their first playoff victory in what feels like 10, 15 years. Well, it's really 10 years, isn't it, really? First playoff win in a very long time. They've got to play at home. They've got to play at home, have the crowd behind them, have Renegade behind them. Defense needs to be healthy. But that is a long way away. That's about 3 months away if we get there. And it all starts with the Jets. Go and send a message. Our defense with Darius Slay and the 3 cornerbacks and safety and Juan Thornhill, and they're going to have 3 cornerbacks on the field and better, better safety in nickel and dime packages and stuff like that. And you're going to have Cameron Hayward going absolutely crazy out there and TJ Watt. Go and send a message. Send a message. As I'm right now, 27 minutes in the podcast. Create 27-0. I understand it's going to be very tough to hold them to 0. They haven't done it since 2011. But go and send a message. Send it. Text away. Call someone. Write it down. Send a message for our team, our Steelers, to play someone who they're familiar with. They're very familiar with Justin Fields. They understand how he played football for the Steelers. He did quite well, going 4-2. Then he got changed over. They reverted back to QB1, which was Russell Wilson at the time. Now he's a New York Giant. Let's take advantage of that. Take advantage. Make him force mistakes. In the NFL, as you guys know, you only really get about 11, 12, maybe 13 drives. I want all those 11, 12, 13 drives to be a stalemate, to be locked down from great defense. That is, our run defense needs to be much better. They need to stop Breece Hall. They got to stop him, and they need to stop the Jets O-line. They got to take advantage with one-on-one coverage with Garrett Wilson. Put your best guy on him, and get after Justin Fields. 110%. This could be a real chance to send a message. And yes, it's only the Jets. But at the same time, you don't want to say that. You don't want to say, oh, no, we lost to the Jets. You want to say the Steelers won 27-0 against the Jets, and we thumped them, and we should have thumped them, and we're meant to thump them. Anyway, Steeler Nation, I am more than excited. I'm so excited to be on this platform, on SEN, to be here on Steelers Nation Australia. I'm getting ready for the game in a few days' time where I get to watch it live at 3 a.m., your 1 p.m. So keen to watch Steelers football, real football, that we get to see Aaron Rodgers throw the ball for the first time in a real game, real environment, in his old town or old team. He played for with the Jets. He ran out there, and then everyone knows what happened to him. But that's his old team. It's not the Packers yet, but that's his old team, his most recent team. We get to see the rival game play out where our Steelers could win 27-0. Hasn't happened since 2011, but I'm hoping it does. I am more than excited, Steeler Nation, to watch this game my Monday morning at 3 a.m. I'm going to wake up, and your 1 p.m. in New York, New York Jet Stadium. What do they call it? MetLife, whatever. Take care of business, get it done. Start 1-0, absolutely crush them, crush their dreams. All Jets fans will start 0-1 and go, oh no, far out. Crush them, absolutely crush them. Alrighty, Steel Nation, I'm more than excited. So I'll see you guys later on Steel Curtain Network when we'll next week we'll talk about the game, what happened, and we'll talk about the next game coming up. We are in the season, man. We're finally here. We are finally here on Steel Curtain Network, and all Steel fans around the world are more than happy to watch Pittsburgh Steelers football. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.